From Harappa to Hastinapur, the horizon of Indian prehistory is ever expanding. And to add a little element of twist to that, we have certain recent research report and discoveries from the region of South India, which probably indicates towards the fact that the dawn of Indian civilization has actually occurred in the state of Tamil Nadu. Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ English channel. Myself Utkarsh Singh, and in this particular video we are going to cover a major news and a major event, article of which can be easily located in most of the newspapers, from print to scroll, Indian Express, Times of India, The Hindu, everywhere, Deccan Herald, the coverage is there, all right. Why this is important? Because the dates that we are getting from Tamil Nadu pertaining to the Iron Age and the emergence of Iron Age is dating back to more than 3300 BC. That is roughly around 5500 years from now. Why it is a massive discovery? Because if we see the origin of civilization in India or any other part of the world, mostly the civilizational phase is believed to have emerged around the Bronze Age. Most of the civilization, the ancient civilization of the world, are associated with the Bronze Age. Now, if you are aware with the basics of prehistory and archaeology, you know that the sequencing starts from Stone Age, all right, and from Stone Age we move to the Metal Age. Stone Age can be divided into three parts: the Paleolithic, Mesolithic, or which is also called as Mesolithic, and the Neolithic. Now, this Paleolithic itself can be divided into Lower Paleolithic, Middle Paleolithic, and Upper Paleolithic. And after that, we come to the Metal Ages, that is CBI. All right, Copper, Bronze, and Iron Age. This discovery is also important because the initial discoveries of the Paleolithic implement were also from the same region. Near the site of Madras, we have two very important archaeological sites. One is Atirampakkam, the other is Pallavaram. The first ever Stone Age tool in the Indian subcontinent were discovered from the site of Pallavaram by a scholar, by an archaeologist named Robert Bruce Foote, who also happens to be the father of Indian prehistory. And this was in the month of May 1863. 4 to 5 months later, in September 1863, again Robert Bruce Foote, along with his colleague William King Jr., discovered certain artifacts from the site of Atirampakkam. The site of Atirampakkam also gives us the age of stone tool, the Paleolithic implement, that dates to around 1.5 million year. Now, compared to the global paradigm, this is not a very older period, because if we see the site of Eastern Africa, specifically the Lomkivi site gave us the date of Stone Age to roughly around 3.3 million year ago. So it's not even half of that. But we are not talking about the emergence of cultures. All of these are the cultural part of the prehistory. Paleolithic culture. We do not call Paleolithic civilization or Mesolithic civilization or Neolithic civilization. These are the cultural phases. We are talking essentially about the civilizational phase. So before we discuss the civilizational phase and the emergence of civilizational phase in the Indian subcontinent, we need to know precisely what is civilization. So when we study archaeological anthropology, archaeology, which is basically the study of past, human past, and anthropology, which is the study of holistic study of mankind. So when we combine this, it becomes the study of human past through the material culture evidences and the skeleton remains. All right. So in archaeological anthropology, civilization is basically seen as the advanced stage or advanced phase of culture. So archaeologists say that when culture advances, when it progresses, it converts or it changes into what we call as civilizational. During the phase of culture, you do not have the urbanized characteristics. You do not have elaborate metal toolkit. But at this stage of civilization, you have the traits of urbanization. You have the emergence of big cities. You have the emergence of social stratification. You have the emergence of inequality and a lot of other socio-political cultural dynamics. All right. So in probably each and every part of the world, the civilizational phase is associated with the Bronze Age. Out of the three metal ages, the Bronze Age, which is intermediate between the two. Now, the Indian Bronze Age is associated with the Harappan civilization, or what you also call as the IVC. The initial site were discovered in the year 1921-22, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, and 2 years later it was reported to the world as being the oldest, one of the oldest civilization in the world. All right. And just a year later, in 1925, There was a scholar and archaeologist named S.K. Chatterjee. S.K. Chatterjee basically in his work highlighted and postulated the Dravidian hypothesis, the connection between the Dravidians and the Indus Valley civilization. All right. This is also very important because around 10 years from the time frame when S.K. Chatterjee reported this, in 1915, under the People of India project, Herbert Hope Risley, a colonial scholar, given a racial classification of the Indian people, which is also present in your art and culture book. If we read the Anatin Singh Hani art and culture book or StudyIQ or any other book for art and culture. So there is this H.S. Risley racial classification. Now, during that racial classification, he basically highlighted and proposed that the indigenous population or the autochthonous population of India is basically Dravidians. Later, some other works refuted this claim and they said, no, Australites are essentially the original Indians. They were the earliest inhabitants of the Indian subcontinent. So this debate is there. If we see the skeleton remains from the Harappan sites, it belongs to a lot of racial strains. From Proto-Australoids to Mongoloid to Alpine races, a lot of racial strains are present. But that racial history is not going to be the focus of today's lecture. We are basically seeing the origin of civilization. So civilizational phase was the Bronze phase, the Indus Valley civilization phase. Indus Valley civilization phase dates back, the mature phase dates back to around 2700 BC, and the mature phase extends up till 1900 BC when the phase of localization, disintegration or decline of Indus Valley civilization started occurring. The major cities and the major landmark characteristic features which are associated with the urbanized civilization of Indus Valley started disappearing. All right. So this was quite a monumental period because big buildings, public buildings, social inequality, standardized weights, currency probably, trades. We have dockyard, evidences of dockyard from the sites like Lothal in Gujarat. So a lot of cultural progression has occurred during this period. And we know that Bronze Age occurred before the Iron Age. All right. But this recent excavation and discovery from Tamil Nadu challenges the origin of civilizational phase. Why? Because now what we have recovered from the state of Tamil Nadu, the site of Iron Age dates back to more than 3300 BC. And if you compare it with the mature phase of Indus Valley civilization, there is a difference of at least 700 years in between. Difference of 700, which is quite a crucial difference. So when the Harappa was in its early phases, the immature phase, the early Harappan phase, when there was no civilizational antiquity, around 3300 BC, when the Harappans and the people around that region were using copper, people in the southern part of India were using more progressive tool, the iron implements. So this is quite a landmark discovery that has changed our perception. A lot of scholars and archaeologists from different parts of the country have said this is not only significant for the Indian prehistory and Indian archaeology, it is significant for world prehistory. Why so? Because the earliest evidence of iron from the world, entire world, comes from Africa. These people were basically called as Girjans, the Girja culture, and in this region there are evidences of iron artifact which dates back to 3500 to 3100 BC. But there is a problem. These iron artifacts are not true iron artifact that we use or that we see, that we consider as part of the Iron Age culture. We consider the tools which are processed or have undergone the process of smelting, the smelting of iron. So these tools, we do not see this evidence of smelting of iron. These are believed to be meteoric iron. So they are giving the earliest date, but they are not true iron. They are meteoric iron. After this, the smelting of iron, the earliest evidence are believed to have been around the West Asian region, specifically the region of Turkey. We have evidences which dates back to roughly around 1400 BC, which is quite a recent period if we compare it to 3300 BC. But in Indian subcontinent, we started gaining new evidences. In the past one decade, or if we take the period of 2002 till 2025, that is today, we had 4 to 5 major breakthroughs. which have always kept on increasing the antiquity of Indian prehistory and the evidence of Iron Age in the Indian subcontinent. We started from somewhere around 600 to 700 BC, which is basically the period of second phase of urbanization associated with the NBPW potteries, associated with the later age, later Vedic age. All right. So earliest evidences were during this particular excavation from the sites like Hastinapur, from the sites like Kaushambi, from the sites like Atranji Kheda. They were giving us the evidence of Iron Age, and they were mostly associated with NBPW type of potteries, the northern black polished ware type of potteries. But when we kept on increasing the number of excavation, the fund started coming in, ASI and the State Archaeological Department. We had a major breakthrough, and the antiquity of the Iron Age exceeded or shifted to around 1800 BC. In the past 5 to 6 years, sites like Lahura Deva, which is in Sant Kabir Nagar district, Uttar Pradesh, near the constituency of the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, that is Gorakhpur, and sites like Brahmagiri in the southern part of India. All right, they have given us the evidence which are ranging from around 2100 BC to 2400 BC. But now these two sites, Adi Channalur and Shivagalai, from the southern part of Tamil Nadu, they are giving us the evidence of 3300 BC, which is roughly around 5500. So the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, he was very happy in announcing this. You can see the report. He himself presented this report towards the wider scientific community on 23rd of January, and he said, "I'm very delighted. With great joy, I announce to the world that this era began right here in Tamil Nadu." Which era is talking about? He is talking about the civilizational phase, the Iron Age of India, because we do not have any dates from across the country which are older than these dates which are now recovered. So what is the reason from where the discovery has occurred? There is this district. The pronunciation might be different in the local lexicon. It is Thothukudi. All right. Thothukudi district, which is part of the southern Tamil Nadu. Here we have two sites. One is Adichanallur and the other is Shivagalai. Now Shivagalai, the site of Shivagalai is basically giving us the evidence of 3300 BC, whereas Adichanallur is giving us the dates of around 2600 BC. So how we have dated this? What we have actually recovered? We have actually recovered what is called as urn type of burial. Urn burial are like pots. They are small to large or mid-sized pots in which either the ashes of the dead individual or their mortal remains, the bones, etc., are kept. All right. These are often associated with the megalithic phase, which is also part of the Iron Age. All right. So there are a lot of megalithic sites in India, from Burzahom in the Kashmir Valley region, in the northeast, if we go, the Khasi Hills, the Jayantia Hills, and in southern part of India, it is scattered in Kerala, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, and a lot of other places. So these megalithic type of burials were often associated with urns. All right. We have recovered this specific type of urn from these two sites, and when we date it, there are certain iron implements which are associated with the urn. So we are not directly dating the tools. We are basically having a correlation. We can easily date this type of pots, these earthenware, these ceramics can easily be dated by dating methods which are called as thermoluminescence. But actually thermoluminescence is not used here. OS or optically stimulated luminescence is basically used here. All right, so there are two types of luminescence technique. One is the thermal stimulated luminescence, the other is optical stimulated. Mostly the principle is same, just the method of its stimulation differs here. So this technique along with the radiocarbon dating has been implied, and just to avoid any sort of debate or any sort of controversy around the dating of the artifact, the samples have been sent to 3 different laboratories, all very important laboratories in the world. So the sample was sent to a laboratory called Beta Analytics, which is situated in United States. The other laboratory was Physical Research Laboratory, which is in Gujarat. And the third laboratory is basically around 15 minutes away from where I am shooting this video. It is called the Birbal Sahani Institute of Paleosciences, the image of which is attached here. So the samples were sent to all these 3 laboratories so that we can avoid any controversy, and there can be basically uniformity on the date that are being put here. So when we found the research report, the dates were mostly similar. From all these 3 laboratories, we have the similar dates. All right. So now this can be said that the origin of Iron Age in India probably has emerged in southern part, specifically in the state of Tamil Nadu, and it is far older as compared to the Indus Valley civilization, which is the Bronze Age. Now, Bronze Age is supposed to be older. Bronze Age, yes, it is supposed to be older than the Iron Age, but the evidences that we are getting here are further older. So, what is the significance of the Iron Age? See, earlier humans were using the Stone Age tools. They were very crude in the old Stone Age. When the experiences started improving, the cranial capacity expanded, the culture proliferated, we started making better tools. So from the crude tools, the older one, the Abelian, the Chilean, the pre-Chilean, the Acheulean tools, we came to a stage where we started using better tools by better method. The Clactonian, the Levalloisian flakes came into play, and later the microlithic industry emerged. After that, we had the backed blades and knives and a lot of other bone tools from the upper Paleolithic. Further, when we moved to the Neolithic, we got a technique called as polishing and grinding technique. So we started making Neolithic celts. After the Neolithic age, we came to the Metal Age. We started using copper tools. We started using bronze tools. But when we came to the stage of iron, it took us to somewhere else. Because with the iron tools, which are 10x better and more efficient as compared to any Stone Age tool that was used in the past, we can clear forest at a much faster rate and pace. Now, why you are cutting these forests? Why you are vacating the land? Basically to do agriculture. So the nomadic population of the past became completely settled, which basically started in the Neolithic phase only. And this settled population started focusing upon craft specialization. Okay, somebody is very good at pottery, he can do the work of a potter. Somebody is very good at doing certain metallurgical work, he can do that. I'm good at leather tanning, so I can do that. And later on, some of the scholars believe that these craft specialization were seen from the degree of purity and pollution. Some of the works which are more relevant, more important, and more purer were given a higher pedestal, kept on a higher pedestal. The other were considered impurer. For example, burning the corpses, handling the corpses, leather tanning, they were not very pure work. All right. So they were equated in a very subtle manner when compared to the work of a priest or of someone who is associated with transmission and acquisition of knowledge. So from there, inequality and social stratification started emerging. The big cities started emerging. The warfare started emerging. So this was also the phase of the rise and the fall of civilization. So that is why Iron Age becomes quite important. It boosted the international trade. It gave rise to a lot of modern phenomena that we have today. The credit for a lot of development basically goes to the Iron Age development. So Iron Age has been quite important feature, and in the lack of fossil record from the Indian subcontinent, if we compare Indian prehistory to the global paradigm, apart from the dates, we do not have as older date as the other part of the world, specifically Africa. But that does not trouble much because the condition might not have been so conducive to prevent the degradation of the artifact. A lot of artifacts might have degraded and we do not have any evidence. That is not a problem. But we also do not have a good amount of fossil record. Many sites outside India have similar type of topography, similar environment, but they do provide us with the skeleton remains, the fossils from the past. So from Australopithecus to Homo habilis to Homo erectus to the archaic Homo sapiens like Heidelbergensis and Neanderthalensis, we have a lot of evidences outside India. But in India, we have a lone survivor. There is a site in Madhya Pradesh and we have found a fossil from a place called Hathnora in Madhya Pradesh, and the fossil was tagged with a name Narmada Man. This discovery was back in 1982. And after 1982, we are almost going to complete 50 years and we do not have any major breakthrough. All right. So in the lack of fossil record, the artifact, the ceramic, the pottery become quite crucial for us to estimate and evaluate, analyze the prehistoric civilization and their relevance in the present day discourses. So I hope this particular information has quite enlightened you in different ways and will also hopefully help you somewhere or the other in the UPSC examination. You can connect it with GS1 also, art and culture portion also. We have discussed the racial classification by Aristotle and a lot of other places. We have discussed like similar information which are utilized in GS1 UPSC examination. So I hope that will help you. And having said that, let me also remind you, if you are someone who is going to choose anthropology as an option, we are going to have our new batches started from today itself, 18th of February. So if you are willing, you can join the batches. We have two different batches, the gold and the platinum batch. There is a difference, 4 to 5 factors are different. In platinum, you get mentorship, daily answer writing. You also get the optional Gyan Bhandar. You have the mains test series, 8 sectional 4 full-length paper along with model answers and detailed discussion of each and every question in the video format. Plus the validity also increases in platinum. The validity in gold is around 18 months, 1.5 years. In platinum, you get extended 1 year validity, which totally makes it around 30 months. All right. So if you are interested, you can join directly. If you face any problem, if you have any question to ask, these are my social media handles on Instagram, on the email ID, you can contact me here. All right. So see you in the next video. Till then, keep smiling, keep learning. Have a very nice day.